You're welcome to the details. I'll take you through them now. Disappointed, that's how 3 families of the 4 missing Takrady girls who came to Accra described their encounter with the police. This was after they were unsuccessful in getting the remains, supposedly those of their daughters who have been declared dead by the police. The families have been meeting the IGP this morning at the police headquarters in Accra to demand a report of the DNA test and bones retrieved from the septic tank. The families are at the police mortuary to inspect the remains which have been kept there. Here's their reaction to what they saw. Some of the families there were one of the distraught mothers talks about how they were assured that the children or the girls were alive, and someone retorted that is in the past, and then she insisted it is not in the past, and if it's in the past and the person they say so, the person is a suspect and must be arrested. She goes on to say that they are being treated this way because they are not rich or because they're poor, and that they leave the matter in the hands of God. But well, the families were also denied the opportunity to take the remains with them for further DNA analysis. This is what they had to say. Well, we'll bring you that, but let's speak to our correspondent who's been following them, Natalia Kwanzaa, who joins me on the line. Hello, Ina.
Hello, Gipsy.
Ina, let's begin with what the reason for their trip all the way from Takrady to Accra was for. Given what we know now, what was the reason why they came to Accra?
Okay, Gipsy. So the family basically came for 2 things. One is a copy of the DNA report, which the police had told them verbally on the 16th of September that the report confirmed that the 4 missing girls were the bones they retrieved. So they were coming for a copy because for them, they feel that if they need an evidence, there should be a documented one, not a verbal evidence. So they were coming for a copy of that report. And then they were coming for the bones, because if they say those bones are the girls, then it belongs to them and not the police. So basically, these are the 2 things they came here for. And then they were all...
Yes, Ina, I was just going to ask whether there was a prior agreement with the police on this.
Will manage to escape the police custody. Hello, Gypsy.
Yes, Ina, I was asking whether the police that was the prior understanding or arrangement or agreement with the police that they should come. They're coming to Accra, and that by the time they'll leave Accra, they'll be leaving with a DNA report and perhaps the remains that the police have declared as being the girls.
It's from the interaction aspect, that from the police, they said that was not the agreement. What they wrote in their petition was to look at the bones to find out if really those are their daughters, because the families were saying that if they see the bones and it says they are daughters, they could see that from the skeletal remains, they could identify that indeed those were their daughters. There was no agreement of picking up the bones back to Friday.
So there was the agreement for them to see it.
Yes, it is.
Initially, they had a conversation with the IGP. Do you have an idea what the conversation was about?
So basically, it was a closed-door conversation which lasted for 1 hour. When they came out, they told us that it was to demand for the bones to be taken to Takrade and then a copy of the report. But the police, the IGP had refused because he said, right now the case is in court and these bones are a critical evidence for the court proceedings. So if they need the bones, they have to go to court and file so that the court will give them the authority to come for those bones.
Okay, so that's a conversation. But then after the conversation, they proceeded to the police hospital where the remains are being kept.
Yes.
What was the understanding as they went there? Was it to just see it, or to see these remains, or to take them along with them?
Yes, so after they had gone through that mission, when they came out, they felt very disappointed. But then they felt that when the police said they could come here today, they thought it was an agreement that they were coming for their remains. So let me put this in. Before they even made up their minds to come here, they had decided earlier to come here with 3 coffins. But according to the family, the police had stopped them in not to bring the coffins. But the police are also denying that they never told them not to bring coffins, because per the petition they sent to them forwarded to the IGP, they didn't make mention of carrying the bones back to Takrade. When we got the police mortuary, it was a very sad moment, as most of the family, especially the parents, were at that moment crying and wailing before even they got inside. And when they went inside and came out, it was an eyesore. They started yelling, raining tears on the police service, telling us that those bones that they saw are not their daughters. They look old as 2 years, 3 years, and human remains. The panties and beads are not that of their daughters, and there is no way they are going to accept that. Basically, they are saying they will go for the court order in order to conduct their own DNA test.
But is there a way for them to clarify? I mean, when they say that this is not the remains of their daughters, they're saying this based on just what they have seen, but they've not done any test analysis to know whether or not the remains are those of their daughters.
Yes, so one family, the family, his grandfather, I asked him that he's not a doctor, he's not a scientist, so how is he able to say that is not his granddaughter? He said, even though he is not a scientist or he has not done any medicine, he's old enough and he has seen an exhumed bone over the years. So for what he saw, he thinks it's 3 years old, and then the bones, the skeletal remains does not look like his granddaughter. If there was anything, if he as a grandfather could have seen from the skeletal remains that it's his granddaughter, but what he saw is total different. And all 3 families are holding the same conviction that what they saw was different. For example, the family of Rudolph Payton told me that for the bones they saw there, the bones look fatter, or they look older than that of Rudolph Payton. The dress they showed to them that is that of Rudolph Payton was not what she wore on the day. And then the hair, it was braided, and they showed them that it was also exhumed from the septic tank, as well as the hair she kept when she left home that day.
Ina, what does the police say in all of this? Now we're seeing on the TV some sort of chaotic situation ongoing there, some disagreements going there. In all of these, what is the police saying? What did the police say?
on with their statement that for them, that is what they have done. And that is what they have seen. So just as they told them, they can go to court and get a court order. And then if the court grants them that permission, they can go ahead and have their own DNA test. So,
well, Ina, hang on. We can listen to the police now. We'll get back to Ina to finish that conversation.
Remains, which they wanted to see. And they have been conducted round, they have been briefed. They asked all questions they wanted to ask. In fact, to the point that there are some non-biological items which some people identified as could belong to some of the victims. And then the bit about the reports, IGP said yes, they could get the reports, but it's a matter of procedure. So at the right time, per the right procedure, they will get the reports. And then the second thing, the third point about having a second opinion, IGP said yes, they are always at liberty to have a second test done. They should only follow the law, and that at the time of taking the sample, a police officer will be there for them to take the sample because the remains are in the custody of the police now, and that they can do that per the lawful procedure. The bit about the case involving allegation of police officers aiding the escape of suspects, IGP said that, yes, police discipline procedure takes some time. And so they, by all means, they are undergoing the procedure. I think it's at the trial stage. And so after the end of the trial, they will know which police officers were guilty or not and the punishments that would be leveled against them. And the thing about pronouncements made by certain officers, the IGP said he is the head of the service. He apologized for all pronouncements that they see are in bad taste. Going forward, the objective is to secure justice, to secure conviction of all perpetrators involved in this. And so we expect the family to help in doing that, to which the family also agreed. Investigation is different from prosecution. Police, we are investigating, and the process has not ended. And it will not end until prosecution has taken over totally and every evidence. I am not a scientist to be able to tell how old skeletal remains are or not. To be honest, they were given all the opportunity to ask all the questions. There were two pathologists, including a civilian pathologist who was called to also be part of the process, and there was a DNA expert. So I believe that the questions they asked were answered. So the bit about whether the eye can tell how old skeletal remains are, that I cannot answer.
A lot of questions yet to be answered. Well, how do the family members feel about all of these?
That the police administration alleged that all our children are dead. And you came to witness, but the whole thing will lie after going to the mortuary, at the police mortuary. When you go to police mortuary, and you find, because you know the shape of our children, when you see the skeleton, this is that. So all questions that you have questioned the administration, what you know, and why they gave us that very information, which we feel it is never true. But now they have explained to us what they have. So the whole thing lies when you go to the police hospital. Then you come analysis every to our JoyNews.
Okay. Were you shown the report?
No. They didn't show us the report. But when you reach at that very side, they said they will show it to us at the mortuary.
Do you still insist on taking the bones away?
You insist, but they told us that it's a court order. It's court order. So unless court approve, and they have a lot of work to do with the bones, they are going to witness the court with the bones, and they finish all the everything. Now that they have not completed, they have to charge the suspect. But without the bones, they can't do that. And without the court order, they cannot release the bones to us. So they will see to it that after their court actions, they will give the bones to us. Or another one is that if you accept that the bones is our relative, now you either accept it or deny it. So when you deny the bones, why do you take the bones? So you are going there to see and identify and rectify everything from the hospital. When you see that this is the bones, okay, this is my granddaughter, Ruth Abeka. I know the head, how he is. she is. So when you get to know everything, you come and pick it. That's all.
As it stands now, they have made us known that we can go to the hospital where we can find the skeletons, just to have a look of it, to ask questions and stuff. But as to release the skeleton to us, that is where the problem is, because the family is in the position saying that we are not accepting the reports. So till court decides, as in the bones belongs to the family or the bones doesn't belong to the family. And there's a lot of questions that we're raising. There's a lot of questions we're raising and over, as in why is it that as it stands now we can't get the reports? Why is it that as it stands now we don't know where the skeleton is? We don't know the color or even how it looks. And they were trying to, give us a whole lot of answers. We raised issues concerning Madam CID boss that she made pronunciation that she will bring the girls back. So that is where, as a family, we are standing to retrieve our lovely sisters from the CID boss. Because as it stands now, we don't know the CID boss, and then the IGP, and then the Interior Minister, National Security Coordinator, who is the superior, whom we can easily listen. And we want to be safe in our own country. We want to be safe in our own country. That is why we are saying that in all costs, we want to see the reports. And they are saying that for we to take the samples, they're going to witness as to how we go by taking the samples, but they can't release the skeleton to us, which we are also going to have another look and plan together with the family and see the next step that we are taking. But in all costs, what we are asking is that the CID boss must step down. That's what we are asking. We raised it today just to have the satisfied report to know the categories and stuff. They said that the report is with the court, so court will release it so that we can have, but they can't give us any report as it stands now.
So two things that you came to Accra with, to get the report and then to possibly take the skeletons away, you have been denied all of that.
Yeah, now all that they are saying is the only thing they can do for us as it stands now is just to go and have a look from the lab, how the skeleton looks and stuff. But as to give us the report, it's impossible. That's what they are saying. And their powers and our powers, there's a bit, difference. There's nothing we can do now. You get it. So
you are disappointed, are you?
Yeah, in a way, we are very, very disappointed because we are here in Ghana, and one police officer who is called Mr. Kulu, I think he's a spokesperson. Well, he made a comment that we can come for the skeleton. Now we can't have it, so we are disappointed.
Oh yes, totally disappointed.
Disappointed family members. They're speaking to Ina Thalia Kwanzaa earlier before they went to the mortuary. Ina, let's find out, how did the chaos at the mortuary end finally? Have they left?
Yes, Skippy. Last for over 30 minutes. For the first time, I have seen the father of Tesla Besum very loud, shouting on top of his voice, saying that he doesn't accept what he saw. He was saying he has been misled. It took intervention of some people to come and then hold him to stop. So after a while, other family members also jumped in. When some of them came in flooded in red headbands, demanding that come what may, they would take the bones. They're still disappointed. They are heading back to Saturday, and you can see that the deal they came with, hoping that they could take back the remains, the skeletal remains back to Takrady, has turned something else.
As they go to Takrady, did they mention anything as to what they're going to do next?
No, Gipsy.
Right. Ina, thank you very much. Ina Thalia Kwanzaa there, who has been following the story of the missing Takrady girls. Looks like the family members came in and got disappointed. They could not take the remains home. They'll have to go through a court procedure, according to those who spoke for the IGP. That is the IGP's answer to the question when it came up in their meeting. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty Ando Apia.